I guess we really wanted a space that we could entertain with our friends and cook with them and actually have them part of the experience. We had a long journey to find the right company. I guess we looked at 4 or 5 different organisations before we found the Myers Touch, and they were really the only company that we really gelled with, that we felt understood our needs and really came up with the design that we wanted and felt reflected us.
I think for us, it was about working with somebody who really understood us, got us, and brought some quirkiness to the design. We didn't want an off-the-shelf kitchen.
I think it was really the personality and the personableness of Keith, who we met initially, and just that feeling that this was an organisation and company that really got us and were listening to what we wanted to do in a kitchen and not just coming up with a standard design or format.
We loved Keith's patience and actually the patience of the team, particularly when we were in the early stages of designing and looking for a floor plan design. He was absolutely brilliant. We loved the fact we came armed with our plans, as probably most people do, and we sat down with Keith and we did not look at a single swatch, we didn't look at a single cupboard other than our little walk round, and it was all about Keith actually having a look and going, so what opportunities have you got? So we hadn't even talked about kitchen design then, it was actually about the space, and actually we learned a huge amount, because without Keith doing that, we wouldn't have the space we've got now. So it was more than just design a kitchen, and we took on board all of that advice. Or we're sitting in it. Oh goodness, for us I think there's so much. We have a kitchen that actually is a different design, and I'm not just talking about the actual space that Keith focused on. He also helped us with the broader design of the kitchen space as well, purely through giving us advice. And I think without that, we wouldn't have the look and feel that we've got today. And I think that's an important thing. There's one thing to have a kitchen in itself designed, but it's how it fits and how it works in the space that we were having built, and that was quite critical for us, wasn't it?
There was definitely lots of things, I think, that by talking to Keith early on, we got the builders to change things and make changes even as early as submitting planning applications and building control and things like that, that we wouldn't have done, I think, if we'd used somebody else or done it in a different way.
Ironically, I think part of the way Keith breaks down questions made it really easy for us to make decisions, and things like kind of surfaces, the design. Actually, we were quite quick on those decisions. I think probably the longest decision we had was about splashback, but everything else actually came into play quite quickly, didn't it? But I think part of that was that initial meeting with Keith, where we looked at the plans. He gave us a really clear brief and homework for us, which was to go away and have a think and have a look. He gave us one of his booklets, and he wanted us to mark up ideas we liked, but also things we didn't like. And I think it's as much about discounting as it is about going, and this is what I like. And we loved that, didn't we? Well, I loved that.
Once we had the initial design, I think the other decisions were really easy to make because we felt really comfortable with the design, and then it was just a question of picking colours and choosing surfaces and things like that were really easy to do because it felt it was all integral and part of that design. So it seemed like a really simple decision to make rather than spending hours on choosing colours.
Yes, the steps were very clear. I would describe it as a bit like we had a process chart that one of the team produced for us, and it was clear, it was decisive, it was slick. And I think we found the whole process actually quite slick. Even when we were having challenges with timelines on the build, the flexibility that Myers Touch had was great actually, and really helpful. Well, right the way down to the discussions that the installation team had with the builders to coordinate. You know, we couldn't have asked for anything more, to be fair. You know, really was helpful at a very stressful time.
The kitchen design and installation was definitely the smoothest part of our whole build process.
Definitely. The installation went like a dream. It was the easiest part of the whole build project, to be fair. Great liaison between builder and the Myers Touch installation team. It was great to hear the builder taking advice from the installation team as well. You know, so very slick, stress-free.
Yeah, when George was on site installing the kitchen, he was fantastic, and the builders were even watching him to understand what he was doing, and sort of they were taking tips from him, which sort of filled us with confidence. But both Pete and George have been really good and really helpful throughout the whole process. I think trust the design team at the Myers Touch, because they know what they're talking about. And sometimes they'll take you to places that you didn't expect to go to.
It's been actually a real pleasure working with the Myers Touch.
Our expectations were really high to start off with, and I think they have been exceeded. We've just been bowled over with how pleased we are with the kitchen, with how it looks and how it functions as well.
Yes, yeah, and I think for us it's absolutely that element of exceeding when our friends come through the door and they've seen the photos, but it's when they physically walk into the space and still go, wow. For us, that goes, oh, that's amazing.
We didn't design a kitchen to impress our friends, but we've been really pleased with how impressed our friends have been about our kitchen.